Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your Visionary Podcast. Today we have a dope episode for you. We got Kennesaw's finest, my brother, Jay Newton. How you doing, boss?
Yo, what's good, man? I appreciate you for having me, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you for taking the time to really talk to me and talk to my listeners.
Of course.
Yeah, and so we start this off. We always ask, what's your purpose statement?
So my purpose statement is to pretty much be the catalyst of change for my generation and generations to come. I feel like with my medium of music and film, I'm using it to pretty much establish some type of urge or some type of fire within you to do something beyond what you already have done. So I think that's what I'm here for, and I think that's what God placed in me.
That's super real, and I commend you for that, for taking on that task. You know, that's super dope. And you know, almost everybody in Kennesaw already know who you are, know you made music and stuff. But right. Take us back. You know, how did you get to where you are? Right now.
Well, for those who don't know, I'm from East Atlanta. I'm from a area called Ellenwood, Georgia. That's my hometown. So I started off, doing music, of course, inside my city, which later, kind of trickled over to me going to college in Kennesaw State. The crazy part is I never told anybody that I did music at Kennesaw because I could never be the guy that would be like, check out my SoundCloud link. Like, I never wanted to be that guy. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I'm already kind of like an ambivert. So it's like I'm an introvert at times and I'm extroverted when it comes to performing. Mm-hmm. But so as far as one-on-one conversation, I'm not going to bring up, hey, like, check out my music. It always was like a thing where I would much rather my impact speak for itself than my own personal like voice speaking for itself. So that started with me doing little talent shows or whatever in Kennesaw, me doing music and music videos and just being a genuine person and building genuine relationships with people, which made me friends with a lot of people, which made me known to a lot of people. And then when, of course, when you're friends with somebody, you'll be more open to supporting them. So that was my whole plan going into Kennesaw, like, just make as many friends as possible and be as genuine as possible and have like open relationships where you support other people and then hopefully they'll support you in return. And that's what happened. And again, they just stumbled upon my music from my Instagram and my Twitter. And from there, they started pushing it for themselves and then the rest is history.
Yeah, that's dope. And why was that your approach, to not tell them that you do music, but just try to build relationships? Like, why'd you take that approach instead of just going up to them and saying, hey, check out my music, I think you'll like it? Because
I feel like that's where the disconnect comes when it comes to up-and-coming artists. Up-and-coming artists just never take the consumer into consideration. They think of them as just a consumer and not a person. So, you have to think of it as, even down to any type of entrepreneur. The best entrepreneurs or the best like companies are the companies that make you feel personable and make you feel like you have like a relationship with them. And you continue to support them because you have that type of tie to it, whether that's things like Disney or whether that's things like Apple, anything of that nature. It's like it's welcoming and it's family oriented. It's something that anybody can enjoy and it's not necessarily putting it in your face. Like, you don't see Apple throwing 100 like commercials at you. Nice. They're just like, yo, we're Apple, we're cool, we're clean, and we do cool stuff and like us, you know what I'm saying? So I just took the same approach when it came to my music. I just wanted to again build relationships because I also gained inspiration from just people. So it's like I wanted to have that type of like content as far as talking to people and just connecting on a day-to-day basis. But it just organically like happened that way. And I'm real big on just organic gains. That's real. And I think that's rare. People are cool with the the fake followers as long as the numbers up there, right? Right.
But I feel like being authentic and original is always the best lane to go in. And so when you decided to go to college, did you know that you were going to keep pursuing your music career, or was there a chance that you would do something else?
No, I literally came to college just for that.
Oh wow.
I knew that college was a basis to market to more people. And market to people from different places. You have people who are from South Georgia, people from out of state, you have people from Atlanta, you have people from so many different areas. And I was like, if I could take over this campus, then that means that they're going to tell their friends from back home and they're going to spread it to their friends. So that always was the plan, just to be inside the college circuit, not just with Kennesaw either, just like, Georgia State, Athens Scott, like UGA, Georgia Tech. We pretty much, Georgia Southern, we pretty much established like a basis where we was going to each college campus doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, that's dope. I never knew that you were that intentional about it from the jump.
Yeah, definitely. It was all part of the plan. Yeah, and then the crazy thing is, my producer, he went to Georgia Southern first. He transferred up here, shout out to Boss Man. But he produces and engineers all my music. And he took over his school, I took over Kennesaw, and it's like we cross branded. So it's like I will go down, he'll open up opportunities for me in Georgia Southern to perform. And then when he transferred up here, I built up the name of saying like, oh, I'm Jay Newton. This is my producer that did all my music. Yeah. So now people were trying to work with him and do engineer work with him as well.
Yeah, that's super real. And how important is that having someone that's consistent and real on your team?
It's real important. For those who also don't know, I have a brand and a team called 808. APE stands for artist, producer, and engineer. And everybody on our team is either an artist, producer, or engineer. So you have myself, Jop Beats, who is an artist, producer, and an engineer. Boss Man, who's a producer and an engineer. You have UV Lifestyle, who does our content as far as visually. We have Cleo Trapper, who is our in-house DJ. We have Akil Shaw, who is our R&B artist, and then we also have Three-Way, who's an R&B artist. So we just have like a melting pot of just creatives that are dope and genuine people who aren't in it for the clout, but they just love their craft and love their type of lane that they're doing.
Yeah, that's dope, man. Shout out to all of them too. Y'all all doing some dope things.
Love, appreciate you
already, bro. And so when you decided to come to college and pursue music, you knew that the education would be part of it as well, right? So how did you really balance both of those, pursuing your music career and making sure that you actually stay in school academically?
See, so it's tricky when it comes to the academic part or the school part of it, because I have my own personal discrepancies when it comes to school and just the education system, especially inside the United States. I feel like we're not equipped to, go out into the real world. And I always felt this way. I felt this way inside high school. That's why I wasn't really pressed to do anything as far as academically. Because I just felt like it was just a big finesse, to be honest. But I wanted to use it to my advantage. So I went to school for film and marketing. I felt like those are two things that I also am passionate in. And they tie directly into music. Yeah. So, but at the same time, I can't really tell you everything that I learned inside college, because, college nowadays isn't set up to learn. It's set up to retain information for a test and then go forward. So I guess it was cool. I was passionate about finishing just because I wanted to prove that to myself, that I don't have to drop out like everybody else that are my peers who have dropped out, inside music and still pursuing and going further and further and further. I wanted to do that. I wanted to go further as well, but, be able to have a degree under my belt and just give it to my parents, to be honest.
Real, no, that's real. Well, and I kind of agree with you, bro, on the point of college doesn't really equip students. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like nowadays, to be successful, you don't have to go to college. You don't. Right? But it's just important to be intentional about why you're coming to college. Right. Like I interviewed a lady before, and she was saying, the college is really for the personal development aspect. Yeah. Because coming to college, like you said earlier, you with so many diverse people. Yeah. And if it was for college, you probably wouldn't have a Muslim roommate. Right. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't probably have a friend that's in the LGBTQ community. Right. You know what I'm saying? So from that aspect, you're really able to grow because you're able to just immerse yourself in different cultures, which helps you find out, who you are. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of like one of my purposes for this podcast is to help college students find out, what they're passionate about and what their purpose is, because you won't learn those type of things in class. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to tell you to find your purpose, to just embrace your spirituality, to read personal development books. You know what I'm saying? So just if there's a voice that's able to do that, then I feel like the college students would benefit from it. Yeah. And so speaking on that, like what's been the most valuable lesson that you've learned throughout your college career?
The most valuable lesson that I learned through college is to be open-minded. Like, you know, we grow up a certain type of way. We grow up in different environments, and we are set in our own type of ways and our own type of preferences with things. And I realized that, you know, having composure and having an open mind will open the door to so many different people, so many different ways of thought process, and it further perpetuates you because you're able to look at things in different perspectives. I think that's something that lacks, especially in 2019. Everybody's so left and right is black and white, and there's no like gray. And I think the gray is important. I think that the non-knowing, or even the fact that, you know what I'm saying, you might be right and you might be wrong at the same time is important. But I think that it's just very imperative for people to have an open mind, whether that's talking to people, whether that's hearing what people have to say, even if you don't agree with it. And it's just, it opens your mind to, you know, how the world works outside of your own bubble.
Yeah, that's real. And what do you think that that gray area represents, if that makes sense?
The gray area represents, let me see, the great possibility. It just opens up possibility, because it's like, you can say that LeBron James is the worst basketball player in the world. I can say he's the best basketball player in the world. And at the end of the day, we might be both right, because you can't judge everything. A lot of things are subjective, especially music. You know what I'm saying? Music is super subjective, where no one is necessarily wrong and no one is necessarily right. But people are so stuck in, oh, you have to agree with me, and if you don't agree with me, then I have to shun you because we have different mindsets, and you're obviously, like, you know what I'm saying, far left than me. And I think that's where the gray is important. The gray is important to know that, okay, you might hate LeBron, I might love LeBron, but we can coexist. Like, that's what the gray is about. It's like coexisting and connecting outside of your own personal preference.
Yeah, that's real. And in terms of the music industry, you might have left and right in terms of, let's say, real lyrical artists. You know what I'm saying? You might have the mumble on the other side. You know what I'm saying?
You can enjoy both.
And you can enjoy both. Yeah. Do you feel like you're in that gray area of that?
Yeah, I think I'm definitely in the gray area of that, where not necessarily mumble, but more so of melodic artists and lyrical artists. I feel like I can dabble in both. You know what I'm saying? I'm real big on melody. I'm real big on songs and creating like music. I don't categorize myself as a rapper because I feel like being a rapper is limiting. So, but I am an artist, you know what I mean? And I feel like being an artist, you have to be equipped to do more than just one thing. And so you have to appreciate people like Young Thug, who no one's ever seen somebody flow like Young Thug ever. But I also appreciate people who are unknown, like Saba. You know what I'm saying? Saba is one of my favorite artists. You know, you got people like Smino, you got J. Cole, you also have a Drake who's gonna sing to you and attach his actual words to your emotions. So it's like there's so many different like aspects and lanes that you can draw from, and you can't always compare it. That's why I hate when like old heads compare like Young Thug and Playboi Carti to like Kendrick. There's no way, because there's two different type of artists. You know what I'm saying? They're important in their own type of way. Yeah,
for sure. And about artists, being an artist, it takes a lot of courage, you know, because you're putting yourself out there. You know, you're putting stuff that came from your mind out into the world for people to judge it. Yeah. You know, and how did you embrace that? Is that something that ever bothered you?
Well, growing up, you know, I still to this day, I mean, unless you really know me, I'm not really a big talker. You know what I'm saying? I'm real enclosed myself, but I am someone who seeks acknowledgement, and also sometimes validation, also even just like understanding. And so I feel like that's where my music ties directly into myself, because I'm someone who's very story oriented. I'm gonna let you know like what happened, and I can like map it out to a T. And I want you to be able to vividly like experience what I was experiencing or feel how I was feeling inside the situation. So it wasn't hard for me because I've always been wanting to be heard, but I'm not somebody who's going to go out of my way to tell you about myself, if that makes sense. Like I'm not going to just be like, so today, like, like, you know, that's not me. But if you inquire, you know, what's going on with me, I have no problem with expressing. And I feel like the fact that people wasn't inquiring on like, you know, how I feel because I'm a strong friend, like I'm like that strong friend in like friend groups. So it's like no one ever like checks on the strong friend.
Yeah.
So it's like I use music or whatever as my medium to like be like, okay, this is what's going on inside my life, where people will be like, dang, I didn't know that you did this or you was going through this. And it's like, yeah, like, and that's a satisfying feelings to me when people actually understand like off of the music, like, dang, this is how you felt. And I felt the exact same way before.
Yo, quick break in action. We're going to get right back to the episode. But before I do that, I'm going to let you all know that the team has just put together a Patreon account, and we need your help to keep the podcast going. So for just $1.99, you can support us and play a major role in the development of the podcast and help us out with things like studio equipment, studio time, and just getting our guests here. And so as a patron, you get access to unreleased episodes and other cool things that are super exclusive, like a free electronic version of my book. I got coffee mugs coming out, water bottles, all type of branded things only for patrons. And so just visit patreon.com. That's Patreon. Patreon.com/Your Visionary Podcast to get more information. Or you can follow me on Instagram and find information there at Visionary CJ, CEEJ. Can't wait to have you all on board. It's going to be super cool, super exciting. Let's get back to the episode.
That's real. And so you released like a lot of bodies of work.
Yeah.
You know, and I see you often ask people on Instagram like, what's their favorite song?
Yeah.
You know, and personally my favorite is Relate. Like that's the hardest song to me. But what do you think is your like most solid piece of work?
Piece of work as far as a project goes, or
just
a
as far
song?
as well, let's do both, a track and a project.
As far as a track, it's hard because it's just like how we was talking about artists and like different things. Mm-hmm. I think written wise, I think to date that people have heard, and that's not on my next project. To date, the best song that I've written is Drifting. I think my best song, like, and not just written, is Liquid Courage.
Yeah,
I think my best project is, of course, Real Men Wear Pink to date, just off of Sonic. But I also think that like there's different avenues. Like my best like bar for bar like rapping is probably Play This on Sunday. But it's like I have, and it's crazy like you said when I be asking people on Instagram, because it's like it's never always the exact same like response. Like I asked that yesterday really, and I got 15 different like answers, you know what I'm saying, which is cool given the fact that I only put out one album and 2 EPs. So it shows that it's like, you know, I'm versatile as far as the songs go. But it also is strenuous because it's like, you know, when I be putting sets together, I'm like, dang, what do I perform? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I only have this amount of time and I want to cater to everyone. Like I'm a real big on people pleasing and stuff. Yeah,
no, that's real. And so I'm interested to know how much work goes on behind the scenes. Talk about that.
It's so crazy. It's like, you know, you put in all these hours just for people to really appreciate your project for a month and like, you know, some change. And maybe, you know what I'm saying, you have an album or a project that lives, you know, the test of time where people are playing it constantly. But as far as hype goes, it's only really like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But it's like each project, Real Men Wear Pink, we spent 3 years on. We started in 2014. We dropped it in 2017. The next project that is about to come out, the sophomore album, we started it in 2017. It's about to come out. So it took 2 years to like craft 11 songs, 12 songs, just for somebody to really only appreciate it for like the moment that it comes out. You know what I'm saying? So it's so much behind the scenes work that people don't actually know, even down to the production of it and the engineering of it. It's like the ins and outs that Boss Man has to like, you know, go through as far as recording it, mixing it, mastering it, producing the beat as well, mixing the beat, mastering the beat, on top of, you know what I'm saying, me performing it, me trying out different melodies, different flows, scrapping the whole song, doing another song, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a very strenuous like project.
And so this is, since this is your visionary podcast, talk about your vision and where you see yourself and want to be 5 years from now.
So it's crazy. 5 years from now, I will be 28. 5 years from now, I want to be established as, one, a prolific writer, two, a well-respected artist. I want to be able to be seen in the light of creatives from Atlanta, i.e. Andre 3000, Childish Gambino. I want to be in like that Mount Rushmore of Atlanta artists already in 28. Cool. I want to be able to put out a couple platinum projects. So maybe, 5 years. So I say 2 platinum projects. 2 platinum projects. I want to be able to put out also film, because people don't know that I do film as well. So I want to have my major like theatrical debut by 28. I want to be able to tour the United States and Europe by 28.
Dope.
And I also will want to have an impact outside of music with just like philanthropy. Like I want to be able to touch like communities, whether that's community service or even giving back spiritually. I think that's something that's removed from the hip hop community, the spirituality of it. I think we only have people like Chance that are really like pushing that's being respected. You know, you have folks like Lecrae, but like he's considered like a Christian rapper. I don't want to necessarily be considered like a Christian rapper, but I want to be able to kind of influence spirituality and not force it upon people, but just have a safe space for people to embrace it. So by 28, I want to be also, you know, seen in a way where people respect me for that as well. So.
Yeah, no, that's real, and that's all dope things. And one of the reasons I ask that is because I'm a strong believer in positive affirmations. Yeah. You know, like I'm a Christian, and so the Bible says life and death in the power of the tongue. Yeah, so I believe that, you know, wholeheartedly. You know what I'm saying? And I for sure feel like you can accomplish all of those things. You know, already, bro. And so, what are some steps that you're currently taking? You know, in order to really make that, you know, reality?
Well, so far it's coming down to first changing my lifestyle. I feel like, you know, being in college, you know, of course, the hype of being in college and the lifestyle of being in college, you can get caught up in it. So right now I was kind of, especially graduating, taking a step back and kind of finding out myself more, being able to really hone into my own spirituality and my own relationship with God. So that's been the biggest struggle, and not the struggle, but that's been the biggest gain, which is producing struggle, because, you know, it's showing me what I have to cut out of my life, you know, the temptations and the negative energy and the people, you know what I'm saying, that you don't necessarily want to let go of, but it turns out to be vices inside your life that are necessary to be cut off. So that's the main thing, starting to that. Always tapping into the potential of my pen. I'm tapping into the potential of my creativity. And then just really trying to enjoy the moment. I feel like, you know, me worrying about the future too much will kind of strain me, where I'm not able to really achieve anything I want, because I'm always going to be wanting to get more. And I got caught up in that like a couple months ago, like where it like put me in a deep depression, because I'm a perfectionist. So it's like I'm somebody who always wants to win. I'm always wanting to, like, you know, come out on top. And that was pushing me to insanity, really, because I was really just like, yo, like I was wanting the affirmation and, like, you know, love and wanting the affirmation in numbers and all of that. And it's
Yeah.
like, I had to step back and be like, that's not the reason why I'm doing this. Like, I'm doing this, one, for God and the purpose that he put in me, but also I'm doing this out of the love of just doing it. You know what I'm saying? And I have to be grateful for what I already have right now, like under my belt. I've had headline shows, have albums, you know what I'm saying? I have people who actually appreciate my craft and my music. So I have to take that into consideration and not necessarily discount that because I'm not where I want to be.
Yeah, bro, that's so real. And me, like myself, I struggle with that. And just making sure my behind the scenes is right, in terms of my lifestyle. Because I got big goals and dreams as well. But I can't expect to reach those if my behind the scenes doesn't, doesn't add up, right? It doesn't match that, and so I think that's something that a lot of other people struggle with as well. Yeah, and it's real. Because I always say you got to grow from the inside out. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So that just means taking a step back and looking inside yourself and really just analyzing the thoughts and the actions that you do. You know? And so that's real. And also, the other thing you said was just. Then Ryan, the last thing you said, the last point you said.
As far as what did I say last? It was pertaining to tapping into my own self, getting myself right, but then wow, I'm going blank.
And so I remember what it was. You were talking about being present and making sure that you don't look too far ahead, you know what I'm saying? Just being grateful for what you have accomplished. And that's another thing I struggle with, you know what I'm saying? Trying to look too far into the future when really the future isn't even promised. Yeah. At the end of the day. Literally. And so it's just being grateful about the things you have accomplished, you know what I'm saying? For just how good God is, all the time. Kind of like J. Cole's song "Love Yours." You know what I'm saying? It's literally always gonna be. It's always gonna be more. Yeah. It's always gonna be something further that you can reach. But as long as you really fall in love with your process and where you are, you'll be straight.
Yeah, and you can't compare. You know what I'm saying? Or you can't look left and right at you know what I'm saying, people and see it as competition. I mean, like, it's cool to have like friendly competition, but you can't always. People get caught up, especially in the social media age, in comparison. And it's like we look at people's follower count, we look at people's like status, and we always are like, why do they have something that I want something that they have, or why are they somewhere inside their life that I'm not, you know what I'm saying? It makes you feel lower than where you are, or it makes you feel like you're on a timeline that's not, you know what I'm saying, attainable. Right. And I had to stop doing that as well. I just had to kind of dial back from social media, dial back from just seeing people, you know what I'm saying, on the internet, and really just live life. Yeah,
that's real. And I feel like it's okay to do that. I don't know if everybody knows that, but it's okay to take those breaks, whether it's social media or just from people. You know what I'm saying? If you feel like you're going down a wrong direction, you need to take a step back and just really learn more about yourself and get right inside. It's okay to do that. Right.
Definitely.
For real. So for the future, bro, the next project, tell us a little bit about that.
So the next project I feel like is my best project to date. You know what I'm saying? It is early inside my career, but I definitely feel like it is best written wise and sonically. It's slated to drop sometime in the third quarter to late summertime, between, summer and fall. And yeah, I'm just proud of it. I think it's the project that's going to further perpetuate my purpose. It's going to be the one that kind of established what I was meant to do, as far as Jaye on this earth. And I just hope people receive it the exact same way. It was a lot of time and energy into it.
That's exciting for real, and I'm excited to hear some records off air.
Facts.
Already, but yeah, bro, I feel like you have a lot of people that really rock with you, not only as a musical artist but as a human being. Love. You know what I'm saying already, and how do you feel about that? How do you really take that on?
It's humbling, you know what I'm saying. I try not to ever. I try to be as consistent as possible when it comes to that type of feeling that people have for me, because it's important to me. Like, I always care about what other people care about, you know what I'm saying? And I care about how people perceive me. So I just try to be as authentic as possible, as genuine as possible, talk to anybody, you know, and make any type of connection that I can, because you just never know. One, what people are going through. You never know what you can be in somebody else's light. You can be a light in somebody else's light. Sure. And so I'm just trying to spread as much positivity as possible. Yeah,
that's real. You succeeding with doing that for sure already. And so as we finish this off, man, what advice would you give to, let's say, your 18, 19-year-old self, you know, when you were a freshman in college, knowing what you know now, you know, what advice would you give that person?
To 18, 19-year-old me, I would tell 18, 19-year-old me to
It's tough, yeah.
Because I don't think that I could have changed anything, you know what I'm saying, to get further than where I am now. I feel like, you know, 18, 19-year-old me had to go through everything that followed 18, 19 to get to where I am today. But as far as, I guess, the craft, stay committed to why you started doing this, and also dedicate to greatness. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like 18, 19-year-old me was cool just like getting by and, you know, just putting stuff out that could have been seen as mediocre, but like, you know, it was accessible and it was, you know, tolerable to the audience. Yeah. So I say if I could start earlier and strive for greatness earlier and really like go into it with a savage mentality of like, no one's better than me, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be the best ever at that age. I feel like I would be nasty. I feel like I'm nasty right now, but like I feel like I would have been nasty earlier. Yeah.
Right. No, that's real, bro. And I appreciate. I thank you again for coming through.
Love, man. I appreciate you for having me.
Yeah, already, bro. And I want to give you a gift, bro. My positive affirmation guide, bro. That's yours. You, and I hope that, you know, I hope that it helps you, bro, because it's for like people that's in you know, in our position in terms of just trying to do better and trying to make sure our behind the scenes is right.
Love.
You know what I'm saying? Because it just talks about how to stay positive in a negative world. You know what I'm saying? How to stop doing what you know is wrong. Right. How to face your fears. How to become a bigger dreamer. And so, yeah, bro, I want to get that to you
Appreciate
already.
You, man. I'm proud of you, man. I want to put that on air, too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just seeing, like, you, like, transition and the trajectory you've been on, bro. Like, it's very inspiring as well, bro.
I
like,
appreciate that.
Continue to go, man. Like, we've talked about this, like, you know, way back, like, in 2015, like, with, like, one-on-one and stuff. Like, and just, like, the mindset that you had even back then, bro, it was just, like, so far ahead, bro. So, like, continue to go, man.
Love,
like,
bro. I appreciate that.
Always,
for
man.
sure, man. And if a listener doesn't know where to find you, bro, just give us your handles.
So, my handles on everything is Jaye Newton. That's J Newton. You have to remember the E because no one ever remembers the E. So Jaye Newton. You can also find me on Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, all of the streaming platforms. Jaye Newton. I have an album called Real Men Wear Pink. I feel like that is very easy to remember as well. Real Men Wear Pink. But I also have other projects that you can hear that has great music, such as Sunroof Season and 444 EP.
Yes, sir. There it is. Well, that's it for you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. See y'all on the next episode. Peace.
Peace.
And so this part of the episode is what I call your visionary minute, where I'll go over some key things that I took away